I try to check in on Trayvon Walker every week and at least produce some type of content that talks about him. He didn't register a sack in the Jaguars' dominant 24-0 win over the Colts at home in week 2, but everybody else did. 5 sacks as a team. Trayvon Walker, to me, and I mentioned this in the last film study I did on him, I find him to be unselfish. I find him to be a guy who is going to do what's asked of him on each individual play based upon the read. This is his first career sack, by the way. I'll get to Colts film here in a moment. He's going to do things like this. There will be weeks where he's able to rush the passer, situations where he's able to, pin his ears back and attack and be that explosive pass rusher. 8, 10, 12 sacks in his rookie season. None of those would surprise me. Then there'll be situations where he trusts his key and he understands what is asked of him on that individual play based upon his read. You can see his eyes are in the backfield here where they should be looking at the quarterback. But he's got a receiver stepping to him, and he's very aware, smart young man for being, I think, 21 years old. He understands they're not going to put a receiver here to block me legitimately. So this is 2 of his plays in week 1 against Washington that, if you ask me, show you the complete player that he is. You have the guy who can make a definitive decisive pass rush move for his first career sack against a starting right tackle in the NFL, and then a guy who's got the awareness and wherewithal to not get screened. All right, film of the Jaguars defense. Look, they're impressive. If you don't know who Josh Allen is out of Kentucky, I think third-year guy, I believe, incredibly talented. Maybe not as physically imposing as Trayvon Walker, but a ton of talent, and him, Arden Key, multiple other guys, Robertson Harris, I think, just destroyed the Colts, for real. Their pass rush. Devin Lloyd had an interception. He looks really good for them, 11 tackles in his first game. If they're going to do something in Jacksonville sooner than they should, theoretically, I think it's going to be because of this defense and the guys who get after the quarterback. You can see off the left side of the offensive line here, Arden Key and Josh Allen are running this little stunt. Arden Key's going to step to the guard, and then loop his way around. Good signing by Jacksonville. He had visited Baltimore, I believe, in the offseason. You can see what they're doing here. Allen is running the left tackle down toward the guard as best he can, and then Arden Key, unfortunately, he's got the Nelson dealing with him, has got his left hand on his chest, so he's let him get into his chest, but Arden Key's able to play through it, go get the sack along with, I think, Josh Allen. Trayvon Walker didn't get a sack in this game. I think only had 2 tackles. Didn't play bad. If you ask me, there's just going to be weeks where, because of how much talent they had there, he's not going to be a part of, getting the sack. In this case, if you ask me, he impacts the play greatly. He's able to win off the edge, and the tackle, is able to push him back downfield somewhat, but he forces the quarterback, Matt Ryan, to step up. Look, the Jags dominated. 5 sacks, up 17-0 at the half, and it's not like their offense did a ton. I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw for like 235. The running game only generated 6 first downs, to my knowledge. Christian Kirk had 2 touchdown catches. But this defense, to me, looks like they're good. They could accelerate the process there. Are they missing pieces? I don't know enough about the team. I'm not going to pretend that I do to know enough to where they're missing pieces. But to me, these guys that play up here get after it, specifically in this game against the Colts. And I saw Jonathan Taylor on the field for most of these plays, so I'm not aware that he was limited or anything. Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, Arden Key, the interior D tackles, they're getting after people. I mentioned last week, and I briefly talked about it here earlier on, Trayvon Walker is a guy who's willing to do what's needed on each particular play. You can see he's dropping out here. They are going to generate a sack on a second effort by, I think, Robertson Harris. But watch Trayvon Walker. He's a versatile guy. I don't think he got enough credit for this from some of the... Normally at Georgia, he's playing in 4-eye. He's playing... This is a 4-eye. So this is the right tackle. And this guy, number 94, is a 4-eye. That's the technique. 4-eye. Inside shade of the guard would be a 2-eye. This guy's not declared as a 2-eye. You'd call him a shade or a 1. But that's where Trayvon Walker played a lot at Georgia. He's playing on the edge here, and they're asking him to drop sometimes, and I think he looks good doing so. Unselfish guy. Team player, and I think that's been promoted from his time at Georgia, where they're no nonsense. It's about each individual play, executing your responsibility, and he's going to fit in well in the NFL, obviously. Devin Lloyd, really underrated pick, if you ask me. I thought he was the best inside linebacker in the draft from the standpoint of his pass drops, his ability to fill against the run. I would love to do a film study on Devin Lloyd. If anybody's watching this and you're a Jacksonville fan, let me know what your perception is of Devin Lloyd, Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen. I'm trying to check in. I got 12 end zone angle plays this week. I think this is a fantastic job by Josh Allen, who's going to get all the attention as he gets a sack, forced fumble, strip sack on an explosive, great move with his outside hand. Watch him as he gets here. He's going to chop down with his right hand to clear the edge, to clear the outside against his tackle. So he's framed him up, or at least made it look like he's framed him up with his left hand, and then he's going to chop down violently with his right hand, breaking the posture of the offensive tackle. You can see pulling the offensive tackle's posture down, clearing it with a rip, forced fumble. Also call attention to Trayvon Walker. I'm going to continue to just point out things that he does. I got it wrong. I don't know that I would have taken him number one. I'm not saying he wasn't a good player. I mean, it depends on each team's individual needs, but I don't know who I would have taken. I didn't think he was a number one pick. I thought he was a top 3 or 4 pick. I clearly got it wrong. They're asking him to do a lot. He's fulfilling all of the responsibilities. Looks like an unselfish group to me, just from the little bit I'm able to see. You can see hopefully down here at the bottom of the screen, Trayvon Walker is dropping into coverage and appears to be in one of the windows that Matt Ryan was attempting to read at the time. You can see Ryan's face mask looking over here. But it looks like probably someone is open outside Trayvon Walker's left shoulder. But they're using him in a lot of ways. This defense looks multiple. They look aggressive and fast as hell. Fun to watch. I'm a defensive guy, always have been, and enjoy seeing defenses overwhelm offenses, as long as it's not the Ravens offense getting overwhelmed. And, unfortunately that happens sometimes. But my film breakdown of the Jaguars pass rush against the Colts, 5 sacks in week 2, only 1 in week 1, which was the one I showed you, Trayvon Walker. So I think they're 8th or 9th in the league in sacks through 2 weeks. Too soon to really evaluate those stats. I'm interested to see what Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, Arden Key, and some of the other guys can generate on a per-game basis to kind of help Doug Peterson and that staff, accelerate the process of trying to improve that franchise and that team. I think they're in a way better situation than they were last year under Urban Meyer for a lot of reasons. Let me know what you think of my breakdown of some of these plays, some of my observations and thoughts about Devin Lloyd, Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, etc., and what you think of their play, independent of my evaluation. What do you think of how they look so far? I think they look like an interesting team and a defense that it would not be fun to go up against. Appreciate you guys checking the video out. If you're a Jaguars fan or anything else, please consider subscribing to the channel. I try to do content on other NFL teams besides the Ravens later on each week, but I certainly take suggestions and would look at film as needed. Appreciate you guys' time.